Hello, this is Father Frank Pavone, National Director of Priests for Life, with another edition of Pro-Life Straight Talk, where we expose abortion with courage and clarity, no matter what the consequences. Well, brothers and sisters, this is being taped just a matter of days before the Pope is scheduled to meet with President Obama. And already there is a lot of spin taking place in anticipation of this meeting, and certainly there will be a lot of spin and commentary after the meeting. I'm not worried about what is or isn't going to happen during the meeting. I have no doubt about the Pope's pro-life credentials, and I've spoken about it with him a couple of times already. I've had that privilege. And as far as his advisors, I also trust them to make the right kinds of decisions in preparation for the meeting. So that's not my concern. What I am concerned about is that the way this meeting gets spinned will reinforce a blind spot that is in our national consciousness right now, whereby we reaffirm human rights and neglect the rights of the youngest humans. This is the problem. This has been the problem with the legalization of abortion, and it's a problem already appearing even before the meeting takes place in some of the commentary that has occurred. The President, for example, spoke at the National Prayer Breakfast at the beginning of February of this year. And notice the blind spot. I'm going to read for you a few things he said during that speech and contrast this with his own belief in a policy of unrestricted abortion. The President said, "The killing of the innocent is never fulfilling God's will. In fact, it's the ultimate betrayal of God's will. Today we profess the principles we know to be true. We believe that each of us is wonderfully made in the image of God. We therefore believe in the inherent dignity of every human being, dignity that no earthly power can take away." Well then, Mr. President, why do you try to take it away? By supporting a policy of abortion, killing those children wonderfully made in God's image and possessing inherent dignity that you say nobody can take away, but you're taking it away. Or at least you're trying to take it away by the policy of legal abortion. Brothers and sisters, here we have the blind spot. Oh yes, we stand for human rights. Oh yes, we promote justice. And we tolerate the biggest injustice of all, which is abortion. Now, I have no doubts either about the pro-life credentials of the new ambassador of the United States to the Vatican, a gentleman by the name of Ken Hackett. I do not know him, but I have no doubts that his position is such that he affirms what the Church teaches. However, I found a little troublesome some remarks that he made in an interview granted to the National Catholic Register. Let me read some of those remarks. He said, "I don't have a problem representing this administration. We are a nation that is concerned about the poor in the world, the injustices in the world, and the issues of peace. Certainly, there will be differences, but I like to focus on the positive. There's recognition that on some things we agree, some things we don't." End of quote. The we being the Obama administration on the one hand and the Vatican on the other. So let's just focus on the positive things about confronting injustice. Well, on the one hand, yes, the Pope and the President certainly will work to collaborate on eliminating injustice and lifting up the vulnerable human beings of our world. But again, to say that, and then to neglect the most vulnerable, to say you're pursuing justice, and then to neglect justice for the unborn, is a contradiction. And that's the problem our nation's policies have. Now, the Pope does not contradict himself, because when he says he's in favor of justice, he knows that at the core of justice is upholding the right to life itself. That's at the core of all social justice. And he also knows, as John Paul II said back in 1988, that it is false and illusory to call for human rights and to fail to defend that right on which all the other rights depend, which is our first and primary right to life itself. Pope Francis reiterated this point in his recent apostolic exhortation, Evangelii Gaudium, the joy of the gospel, when he wrote these words, and I quote, "This defense of unborn life is closely linked to the defense of each and every other human right. It involves the conviction that a human being is always sacred and inviolable, in any situation and at any stage of development. Human beings are ends in themselves and never a means of resolving other problems. Once this conviction disappears, so do solid and lasting foundations for the defense of human rights, which would always be subject to the passing whims of the powers that be." Let's sum it up this way. It's not going to work if we just all get together and pretend to agree to disagree, pretend that we agree on more than we disagree on, so let's celebrate our common cause for justice and human rights and not dwell too much on this problem of abortion. It's not going to work. Because brothers and sisters, that's like somebody getting together with somebody else and saying, let's build this house. Oh, we disagree about the foundation. But look, we have these great ideas to build these beautiful walls together, and we've got the best design for the roof, and we've got the most beautiful windows in the world. If you can't agree on the foundation and make a solid one, all the rest of it is going to come crashing down in a heap of rubble and dust. We build on quicksand when we do not affirm and protect the right to life. No, we cannot simply agree to disagree. Because when someone is perpetrating violence against human beings, you don't sit back and agree to disagree with the perpetrator. You stop the perpetrator. This is not just about viewpoints. It's about victims. Abortion is not just about beliefs. It's about bloodshed. Let's unite together with the Pope and with all those who seek social justice and bring an end to this killing of children once and for all. Thanks for your pro-life commitment. Join us next time here on Pro-Life Straight Talk. God bless you.